As long as there have been thieves, there's been a need for locks. Padlocks date back to Roman times and were likely first used as cargo locks to protect merchandise being transported. Thousands of years later, the padlock continues to keep burglars at bay. The modern padlock's strongest point is its laminated lock body. To make it, they stack 24 steel plates like these and then laminate them together. It's the same technology that's used to make doors for bank vaults. A punch press cuts and shapes pieces of steel into caps. They'll be riveted to the lock bodies. The rivets tumble down a feeder, while below, an operator places a lock body in a fixture and places a cap on it. A powerful press drives them into the assembly, securing the top cap to the lock body. At another station, cutters machine steel rods. They contour them so they'll fit into holes in the lock body, while lubricant keeps things cool. They load the rods into a form press. It bends the steel as easily as you could bend a pipe cleaner to make a U-shaped shackle. Then the shackles roll into a furnace for tempering, which will toughen them up. After a little more machining, the shackle is ready to be installed. This shackle will need to move up and down as the lock is opened and closed. And that's where these ball bearings come in. They install two in the lock cavity. These bearings will work with a cylinder extension to open and close the shackle. Lubricant gel aids the process. They use it to grease the inside of the lock, while at the same time pushing the ball bearings to either side of it. The cylinder extension goes between the ball bearings. Then they slide a protective casing and bumper over the lock. Now they assemble the locks. A machine loads copper-plated shells onto mandrels. Plugs, pins, and springs funnel into the lock assembly station. A device installs pins and springs in a lock shell. The shell slides onto a brass plug. This plug has a groove cut into it that matches a key. A carbide cutter notches the keys. There are tens of thousands of key profiles. This sorting station holds just a few. The keys and lock cylinders are all numbered accordingly. This worker matches them up, making sure there are 2 keys for each lock. She selects a padlock and pushes one of the lock cylinders into it. It's time to top it off with a retention plate. A machine press fits it to the bottom of the padlock. This secures the lock cylinder. They install a spring for the shackle, and the bottom cap goes on next. Then the entire assembly is riveted together. They try the key to make sure it matches. A computerized system opens and closes a randomly selected padlock thousands of times to make sure it's up to the job. Finally, they try to bust a lock on purpose. They drop weights to replicate the force of a hammer, and the padlock withstands the blow. This day's work is done, and it's time for the folks at the factory to lock up for the day.